In many Western nations, such as the United States, being rich is a choice. Everybody in the world who is rich has the right to give up on it. You can be poor if you want to, and you can be in the middle class if you want to. There's nothing wrong with any of that. I have not made any decision that would ever secure extreme amounts and large, vast amounts of wealth. I will never have $1 million, and I am not planning to. But for me, the fact that I'm allowed to be in any class is a freedom. The fact that I can be in the middle class and that I don't have to be poor, and the fact that there's a group between the rich and the poor. There's a group between the poorest and the richest, a very large group in most countries, is something that I do value, and I cherish it. I cherish the fact that this middle class tends to exist in every civilized society. It exists in every country that is prosperous. The fact that the American dream is declining and the middle class is declining is not a good thing. And Americans should do more to prevent the middle class from declining. In every society, there is multiple classes. There's never just one or two. There always has to be some middle group. Maybe in the aristocracies of old Europe, there was the knights and the lords under the kings and above the peasants, but there has to be that middle group. Or else you just have the millionaires and the homeless people. There is never going to be a successful society where millionaires live next to them. When people make enough money, they can actually create new jobs and put it back into the economy. They have enough money, these so-called millionaires, to fund new projects. And I believe that if people in the middle class could slowly move their way up, and if poor people could move their way up, there would be more economic prosperity in countries such as the United States of America. And this idea that everybody should make the same amount of money, thus putting everybody in the same class, does not create a society that can move forward. The people who invent, such as Thomas Edison, wouldn't do it if they could gain nothing from it. And the most talented artists and musicians would have no desire to create any new forms of art if they couldn't get anything from it. And slowly those societies become that where only the government can represent those with money, because that's where all the money is going. So the people in those societies don't have any representation. And the people in those societies don't have any money. The more money people are allowed to have, the more money you can have, the more powerful you are. So allowing people to make as much money as they want to is in no way a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with a society based on some amount of inequality, so long as the inequality isn't being drastically forced. Inequality in most Western nations exists because there are different classes. And this idea that people should whine and moan about being poor does not actually change the situation. It simply adds on to more problems. I have nothing wrong with making $20,000 a year or even $10,000, so long as there's a way to survive. Perhaps living in a house with more than one person is a way to survive. Perhaps living paycheck to paycheck, which might not be a bad idea, is a way to live. When you complain about being too poor, you're not actually contributing to the solution. You're only adding more problems.